Ray already basically stated it. The second thing is that the norm is that we are going to mute our microphones. We're in control of our mics, but we asked for people to mute their mics when the channeler is active, obviously, and then to follow the cue of the questions. Ray will be assembling that, and we just follow that. We try to follow that little format. We're so happy to see Mehul here as well, and we see Ina that we haven't seen for a little while, and LGE LMG 850. Oh, okay, that's a good name. So we're happy for every one of you to be here. Today we have Patrick Godin, who is one of our great channelers that keeps coming to these meetings and has brought us many different things. But most recently, he is the master of the hybrid children, the Phoenix Lightship, the Yahels. And I guess today he has a message that we have not spoken anything about. So, he's the custodian of that connection, and he shall reveal it in a matter of a minute or so. So we welcome Patrick, as always, with our open heart and knowing that your message today will be right exactly what we need to listen to. Patrick, it's all yours.
Thank you, Luis. Like I said the last time, and I hope we're going to have another meeting to share everybody experience about the hybrid, whatever they have as an experience in physical reality and the dream, because it's very important to talk about that. Again, I will repeat myself, but I'm doing this because a few months ago, I have Gray's Connection come to me. They asked me if I want to be involved with hybrid. And I was like, okay, yes. And they said, don't think you're going to receive everything at once, and they was like with 5 hybrid at that time. I meet them and it will be step by step. And this is where the ego you need to watch your ego, what he's doing. This is fascinating when you understand that, because, oh, I know everything. No, you're not, you just need to be okay to whatever's coming, it will come when it need to come, not more. And because it's easy to run a show from their own ego and mind, but it's all okay as long that the energy is positive. But what they tell me, it is this. First, I put on my Facebook that I will take a break for channeling myself. And the reason I'm doing this, I realized for the last few months that all my life, I have those kind of experience just to walk outside, to do my stuff, to see a leaf start to moving and connect with indigenous people in Amazonia and stuff like that, ship appear. And I realized lately when I channel, I kind of put myself out of those experiences. And I said, wait a minute, I missed those things, just to go out and with spirit, just by doing my own day-to-day reality. It was on and on and on. And this is from the first time I was born, And I said, okay, why it's doing this? Like I will experience that level and see where I'm going with this, because it become real every single day. I have an interaction with a spirit and ETs, whatever. At work, I'm talking to a car. They respond to me with the computer in the car, know what's going on with the car. And sometimes the woman of the guy who bought the car is not happy, and that's the problem with the car. It's so amazing, And you ask the guy, I'm not sorry, it's always the guys and women, but said, did your wife like the car? She hate the car, and the car know it, and it caused all the problem. It's fascinating, you see, because you need to understand that we are the reflection of that experience. Everything is responding to us, and when you really understand that, this is where the show starts, and you really kind of get into it, and it's fascinating. This is my point of view for now. But the Gray came a few times to talk about hybrid. This is not new. But lately, they came and told me that. I don't know if the Little Sunshine will talk about them, maybe later on. But they said, the stage I am right now, they want me to express this, because they have many people involved with the agenda of the hybrid. And if you want to use abduction, whatever, raising your help, they give you help to raise yourself. They said, you must understand they have two fashion. They have lots of fashion with Gray's Federation. You know, they have the one involved with the hybrid. They have another involved with something else. And the one who are involved with the hybrid, they're kind of slowly disappear because they're not surviving in the future. This is why they're doing this. We can say right now they're gone. Those grays that was involved with the hybridization agenda are gone. And they said it's very important to understand because many people, from Bashar point of view, they said many times like 40 or 44% of the population are involved in that. And this is pretty good because you're going to see maybe on 2% you cross on the street, one of them are involved with that. They know that they don't know it. And that's pretty huge. And again, depending where you tune in, it will be 40%, maybe 44, maybe 64. It's different. But they said to me, it's very important you understand that many people like me, I have daughter, I have children, human. But some people are involved with the agenda, have no children at all in their life. And the percentage is very high. And they said it's important for those people to understand because when they show up in your life, you're going to freak out because they have lots of energy. You don't have children to deal with it in your life. You have kind of no experience in it. Like when you have children, you have to wake up in the middle of the night. You have to deal with their own, it's a different thing. It's hard to know the experience of it. But they said, wait a minute, you have to tell those people it's not a big deal because the people who have no human children, they have been in a ship more than the mother and the father have human children to train themselves to be with them that you cannot imagine right now. But he said, when the meeting will come up, the memory of that will come to you and it will become more normal to have them with you. You see? And it makes totally sense. It makes totally sense. This is what they want to share. They said, don't be worried about that. Okay. Because when you don't have a deal, children, you don't know what it is. And those children are not, they know what you think. If you lie, they know. They're different energy, but don't worry. They said you've been in the ship with them for so many time and time over and over. You walk, you teach them, you play with them. That feeling will come back at the same time with their own energy. You see? Like that's what they said. It's very important to understand that. Because, like I said, this is the third phase for me to connect with hybrid children with parents for 2010. In 2010, everybody was waiting in a room to say, I want hybrid children to come in the table. And the Grace said, well, what are you going to do with them? Oh, we don't know. We have to ask the question of that. What are you going to do with them? But again, it's set up. It's already preparation that with the dream astral travel with them, you set up all those meetings. It will just become normal. You will just know them. They will just know you. It will just be part of that reality. This is the big thing they want to say. They want me to say to you today. That makes sense for you?
It makes sense for me because it's all about opening the hearts and the joy that they bring and the different focus that they bring is what allows us to detune from that 8 to 5 job and that life that is just limiting us and making us not be the joy that we really should be and have the heart fully open.
Exactly. And having children, it's a big challenge sometimes because you have to deal with your own stuff. They push you in a corner. You have to be there. Sometimes you want to run away, but you just can't. And it's a big thing, but this is a raw experience. That's the way I see it. And when those children start to appear in my house, it looked like between me and my wife, I was able to see it. But the minute I told my wife, look, they have 6 of them in the door, the entrance. After that, they kind of pick up on her, but she was not able to see them, but they was able to communicate telepathic. It looked lots of female have that telepathic energy inside of them. But me, I am somebody who always sees the energy or whatever happened. Like it's always a balance, you see?
Chuck has a little comment, so
Yeah, yeah.
please, by all means.
So the way that you're explaining this story now, Patrick, is very cool and very um, in a strong example of I have a daughter, but she's older. I don't have any young children. Um, but for the past couple of weeks, whenever I run into a young child, and it's always I don't know what's going to happen. Like their parent, usually their parent is holding them, or they're by the parent's side, and they're like 3, 2. You know, they can stand usually. They have, you know, their hair is grown in and stuff. But when they see me, it's this. And they're going, I know you. And I'm going, yes. I'm thinking inside, I'm going, yes, we know each other. And they just look at me like, oh, wow, there's someone who I recognize here, you know, who knows about what's going on. And so, and I just look at them a little bit, but I can't stare too long because their parents are there. You know, I don't want to freak their parents out. So I'll look at them, we'll catch eyes, and I'll give them an internal, yep, I recognize you, I recognize our connection, and I just give a little smile, and then I look away, you know, because I don't want to pay too much attention to the kid. There was one, I was at the Department of Motor Vehicles several weeks ago, and her mom seemed like a pretty cool individual. She seemed like maybe she does a little exploring herself or something, but still, you know, I'm a stranger, and I didn't want to pay too much attention to her daughter. It was a daughter to her daughter at the time. But I've had three of those in the past couple of weeks, and we just it's immediate. It is, and I recognize them. They recognize me. They know that I have an expanded awareness. And they just like hi, you know, and I'm like hi, you know, and then I'll just, you know, and every now and then I'll look back, and every time we catch eyes, they just go, it's been pretty cool. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. Oh, sorry, somebody called me, but I will hand that.
Thanks, Chuck.
Okay, why somebody's calling me? Sorry.
I can vouch for that as well, Chuck.
Yeah. But this is what is very important. You know, they said they have faction, they have training for everyone who is involved with that. But the percentage is very high when you check that. And some people don't know anything. I have a friends, it's my age, maybe younger a little bit, but she have a daughter with 3 children. Those children kind of send me top because I was still going to Sedona. We want some rock from there. You know, like when I came back and give it them, the mother said, "Why did you give it?" And the kid was like, you know, like they want that rock. They know that energy. Like those are the one who really, really get open, you know, but the grandmother doesn't really know about that. Like I
So
will
that
say right now, it's to make that reality real as you can, you know, not just to think it's a possibility. No, it's just right here. They're right there. They can interact with you. You can involve with that. Like Bashar said, you know, physical action is the language of it, and it's true. It's true. The minute you push yourself in that direction, you move at that thing, you have no doubt they will show up. Like Chuck said, some children will say something to you that you will know it's different.
we have a question from Mehul, and I'd like for him to step forward because it is about hybrid children and about the hybrid children that you have channeled before, Patrick. Okay, so Mehul, please.
Oh yeah. Hi Patrick. I'm not sure if you can hear me well. I just wanted to ask what their spaceship looks like, as well as some other questions, but I wasn't sure if you'll be channeling them or not, because I was hoping to ask them that directly. But if you know, maybe you could tell me what you know.
Yeah. Who's that person? I tried to see in the screen. Sorry, I was on my phone, the screen a little. Who's that person,
It's
Louis?
it's
He's,
me.
yeah, he's the
Oh,
one with the 20. Mehul is his name, and it's a long-standing member of this group
Oh,
dating back
okay.
a year and a half.
Yeah, I think I saw him on Facebook. As far as I know, because many people came back with the Yael have a home planet. For me, it never been the case. The Yael live in the Phoenix Light ship, and they have a few ship like that, and they bring with them the children. They're the one who bring the children to Earth, but they never told me they have their own planet. Their home is ship, and their home in the future will be Earth. That's what I know so far. Like they really give a ride to them.
Oh, cool. If I may ask another question, is that okay?
Let me think about that. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you know if any humans go on their spaceship physically?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you
Yeah.
know if, oh, sorry. Do you know if the hybrid children have personal bedrooms on their ships? Do you know if they have like little sleepovers in each other's bedrooms to have fun like that? Because I can't imagine what it's like to be on a ship all the time. So I imagine they have lots of fun up there.
They have lots of fun and they have the screenshot that they look like a condo. They live in a condo because they already practice themselves that they live here. You see, like they have that simulation with human Earth was going there to teach them that. But they live, yeah, in a house, apartment, depending on what they want to do. But they kind of have their own thing, yeah. And sometimes they don't sleep at all because time is different for them. It doesn't matter where they are. Sometimes they might be close to Sirius Star and it's a different experience. But they always base themselves to understand the planet Earth. This is the concept of them. Like maybe I'm wrong, you know. Maybe they have a planet, but I never really have. It's the Phoenix Light. They bring the children. The Yael are in charge with them, and this is where they live right now. And the next future planet will be Earth. That will be their home.
That's interesting. Thank you, Patrick.
And Mehul, the ones that I channel find it rather odd to consider Earth as their home because it's not yet. They don't have a home and they're not willing to identify with any of the artificial boundaries that humanity has erected for counties, cities, countries, continents. They are Gaia. So
Yeah, you know, and when Bashar talk about Inanika, it's a different frequency than where they live. And like they said many times, this is what I have three grays with me. The first time I was born, they was with me and they come and follow me. When I was going out of the track, they bring me on the track to see shit like that. And I can't run away from it because I have agreement to see them and to talk about them like I'm doing today, you know? But they said sometimes, you're not in charge of them. You're not in charge of the grays or hybrid. That's why your ego must to come down and allow it to occur a more natural they can be. And as a friend, as an open heart, this is so important. What that mean, open your heart? Many channelers said, open your heart is going to be fine. What that really mean? You have to discover yourself what that mean because your heart's speaking. But sometimes it takes time to understand what it mean, what it's mean for you in that reality. You see, that's the big challenge for many people sometimes. And it's not about cutting yourself as a human because we just decide to be a human. This is why when I'm going to my life every single day in nature, doesn't matter what I'm doing, and the experience and the connection come to me, why do you think they happen? Because I am in the now. I am in the moment. This is where they can find you. If you're always thinking about the future and think you understand the way it's going to happen, you're not home, like Bashar said. Like they can't catch you, but you're really in the now and have fun at that moment. And whatever you're doing, you know it's a reflection of you that you play with it. Now the door is open. And I tell you, they're always around you if you pay attention. Yesterday I was in the lake and a bird came, it threw a rock on the lake and it create ripple. And I said, why that bird doing this? You know, and the second one, it came back and the fish come out the water and eat whatever the bird give to him. And I was like, what the hell's going on? In fact, I started just to relax and tune with that ripple, the bird come with the fish. You know, creation, it's amazing. It is something with our mind we cannot understand fully, but it's a movement of flow, of experience. And the bird was helping the fish for some reason. And I was kind of witnesses that, you know, the sky, the fish, the water. It was an amazing thing. Like this is what the hybrid know when they come here. They play and they understand whatever's going on. You see? I'm still trying to be friend with mosquito, but I have a hard time to go.
That's a different kind of hybrid, huh?
I don't know who to deal with that. Maybe they don't have a 4 density mosquito. I don't know.
Ina would have the next question, please.
Um, It's kind of, I was told years ago that I have hybrid child, but I would like any information if you can tell me, like, is it he, she, how old is he, she, the maybe name, maybe, I don't know. I would like like years ago, actually, I have a dream. And in that dream, I had a child, and I look at the child, and the child was alien. And and I was like, how am I gonna tell my family? How am I gonna tell everybody? Like, I have an alien. He had the big eyes, and that's what happened. And then I asked somebody at the channel, and he said, yes, you have an. But he said that the child is like not so young anymore. It's like 20s or something, right? So maybe it's somebody else. So whatever information you can give me, I would appreciate it. Thank
Okay,
you.
what they said, you have one boy, 9 years old, and he's discussed itself like a Zorro. You know the Zorro guy, the cowboy with black hat?
Mhm.
This is what is fascinating about that character. Like,
Mhm.
think about that 9 years old, and you will connect with that. But he loved that energy, like that Zorro guy, with the mask.
Does he has a name?
Zorro.
Oh, that's the name. Okay.
Yeah.
I love this movie actually. When I watch the movie, I love it.
Why Zorro? Put yourself in zero all the time. Back up, and start again, start again.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
That's what they come, all right?
Now Willow has a question.
Hi, Patrick.
Hello.
I was just wondering if you knew any information about how early the Greys can create a hybrid children from harvested genetic material, like say from a young girl. Could the girl have her own children when she's still young? Or is that, I'm not really sure how it works in that way because I've been having dreams since I was really little that I've been having my own babies, like actually giving birth to babies since I was like 13, which is very strange. So I was just curious if like you have to be, like what time period they're able to create the children from, I suppose.
Yeah, what I know from that, and I talk to many people about some people have a very experience with them. It's like, it was not easy for them to do what they do. We think they have big technology, okay, and they can shift themselves with spaceship. But the starting of that hybrid agenda was not easy. It was not easy. They have many mistakes, stuff like that. But what happened when you open up yourself as a soul level, you tune with different version of you, that they have children in different time frame. It's kind of hard to really know the story like A to Z, because sometimes it doesn't make sense. You get to a point that doesn't make sense. But it took a long time to figure out those things. But from the soul level, this is where the Gray have agreement with us to do that.
Mhm.
It is when you connect with different version of yourself, it looked like it was you and this different you see?
Yeah, so I could have been like, a 10-year-old connecting with a older version of myself on another timeline and then having those memories, I suppose, come through that connection.
Exactly. And maybe that whole version of you was the adult of this one, you see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have always to see like that, different reality, different time frame, different from the soul level. It's really multi-dimensional.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, they said pay attention to Alpha Centauri.
Sorry, what was that?
For Ray, Alpha Centauri, Ray.
Oh, my tall white connections again?
Yes.
Yeah, they told me they were available today and I kind of ran out of time, but thank you very much for that reminder. Maybe after this I will they're willing to come through any time. They never leave. So
Maybe, huh?
You might lose your hair, but that's okay.
We got a question again from Mehul.
Hi, Patrick. I have a question about on the ships where you've seen the children, have you seen lots of diversity? Like, do they have children from different regions, well, genetically connected to humans on different regions of the planet from like all the different races? Oh, on top of that, I have a special question because I didn't know you were super psychic. Uh, could you let me know if I have hybrid children from your perspective and if anything comes through? Thanks.
I'm gonna say yes, but they have many, many different versions. You know, if you talk about the agenda like the Greys, but they have an agenda with reptilian, they're aware of those things, but doesn't mean everybody's in the same ship having supper, you see? They're just aware of those things going on, but it's different frequency. And the hybrid are coming to Earth a really specific frequency that nothing can put them out of whack. You see, they're really centered, they're really focused, and the big teacher around them make sure that energy doesn't get involved because you are the creator. You're strong enough to go your. This is why I said the ego have to come down because you have so much power yourself that you can try to distort the story of that yourself because you're a co-creator of that universe. You see, from the blueprint, from whatever you reflect that universe. Like they have energy involved, like the Syrian energy is so big that they make sure that is very stable to come down as a perfect in alignment. This is why we need to get alignment to tune as natural that we can get. And it feel like I don't get, you probably have children, but it look like you are like a joker on the ship with them. You're the funniest guy on earth with them. You give joke, they're laughing like crazy, and you have lots of fun. It look like in a ship you can run and jump and do backflip in the air, and you enjoy that, but you don't remember when you wake up.
Oh, thank you, Patrick.
But they said you're very, very funny. And they want to know why you're not funny like that on Earth. Are you shy?
Well, I'm used to being super funny, but I have like some more pressing life challenges to deal with that
Okay.
make it a bit unfunny to be funny, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Because if you keep to be funny like your natural state, it will help you like crazy.
I know, but I'm getting there.
It's always that but, huh? We're good with that but, you know, but you're doing a good job, you know. It just whatever we're going, it's the time we need to go through and experience and talk like that. And I will give you everything that the great come to me. They don't give me 3 hours of information, but enough to understand that it makes sense what they said, you know. Don't worry when you connect with them. But again, ask them in your day-to-day reality, make that thing real, like they are there somewhere. They're playing outside or they're doing something with you, you exchange with them, you're doing some food, you're doing chocolate cake, whatever, they're there and smelling and they're exciting. Start to feel that way. It's going to have no choice to respond that way. You see, this is what they're waiting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Patrick.
Will has another question.
Yeah.
Willow.
And please write the story that you told them in the ship right now. Maybe if you can start tonight, you have a story within themselves that you talk to them all the time and they're laughing like crazy.
Hi, Patrick, again. I have another question for you, if that's all right.
Go ahead.
So I was wondering, what are your dreams like? Like, do you dream with the hybrids on a daily basis, or do you connect with them in the astral states or through meditation? Have they brought you on these huge adventures that are in those other realms? I'm very curious.
Yes, I have many dreams, but more and more is in my day-to-day reality that they show up in my inner vision. Sometimes I see them, but the most experience I have it was with Raven, that I call Raven. She bring me with the wells. She bring me many places. She bring me to Willa, that Bashar channel in their time frame because they're connecting to her, and she pushed my back, like open up myself, huge, huge. But yeah, many times it's a dream state, and many times it's in the day, you know. And last week I was because I'm working on the car industry, and a family came with a car and they asked me because they dropped their mirror, and they said if I can help them. They had the children in the back of the car. If I could put the mirror back, and the kid was like my head like that. And he was laughing, and I started to have a different picture, an image, like what the star is that, like a glowing sun. And I looked at that child, and it was like, yeah, you know, he was smiling. And the parents give me like $20, thank you for that. And they laugh. And I said, okay, it has to be part of my life. But those things are always around, you see, always around.
So it's like your life is becoming a living dream. Like the dream world and the physical world are starting to melt together and create one unified experience.
Yes, yes, exactly. And when I'm doing geometry, I can really sense a higher version of me kind of take form and do kind of shape and welding that I'm not able to do as a human sometimes. But it's just a concept, it's there. And you reflect that concept. Of course, sometimes it's not easy, but you have to deal with those things and you have to laugh.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's very fascinating.
You know, I'm sure 100% that everybody have those things. You just have to pay attention, really pay attention. And when you pay attention, you're going to see, oh, something lately. Like for the last week, I have nature spirit, like a frog, 3 feet high frog was crossing the river, look at me back. He was kind of guiding me to do a meditation with my third eye and my eyes and bring the energy. And we start to communicate with them. In fact, if you allow them to be there, you allow yourself to be in the moment with them, those things will occur. It will occur. But if you sit down in the forest and you force yourself, I want to talk to a tree, it might not happen, you see?
Beautiful. Patrick, maybe you can talk a little bit about the fact that you truly are communicating all the time with the hybrids, pretty much. You do bring them through a channel state as well, in which they come through and give a message or answer direct questions. But as you're here talking to us, you know, you have been interweaving your experience, what you have experienced with them, with direct contact in order to address some of these questions. Maybe you can explain that a little better for those that are here and will listen to this.
Well, you know, I think I'm not different. Well, I think I'm just born like that with that sensitivity. And I always asked my mother, because when I was young, maybe 2.5, 3 years, I was opening a door in the house and they always had that book with a saucer with 3 grays. And I was young and that book triggered me. And until today, I said, where's that book, Mom? You know? And she was like, what book are you talking about? You see? I said, I remember that book because that book was there just triggering me some stuff. And when I was young, it was not always easy. I think it's easier for children now because when I have those interactions, the next day I was going to school, it was hard because I would become, it looked like they bring inside of your frequency, you become sensitive to life itself because they destroy themselves without emotion. But I was like, the teacher was speaking and I know something he was thinking, like he was not happy to be there. And I was thinking and tapping all those things, you see, and sometimes I was just closing my eyes, see star and craft. I told my friend, do you see the star coming? I said, what are you talking about? You know, I closed my eyes, it's dark. I said, no, they have full of star, you know, like it was kind of sometimes challenging, but you don't understand. And you try not to prove to others there, come on, guys, you see, close your eyes, you're going to see star. You just need to accept them the way they are, I guess. And whatever experience I have with a group of people, they've been part of that group, but maybe they don't need to remember that as I remember that, you see? But I think when you accept that you choose to be part of it and you open that door and you said, look, I'm ready to receive it. I'm ready to open up. Yes, I will do my best to open your heart because we have challenged as human. It's okay too. They understand that. They will respond. And right now, they will respond. Because when the Greeks said our faction are dying, but another faction is taking form. And this is the one we are interesting with our heart because we're going in that direction. We are exciting about that. Like we co-create a different faction, you see? Like you just need to open yourself and let life occur to you, come to you. And if it takes time because maybe you need to do something with yourself, understand yourself, in a different way those things happen. Me, I didn't have to force it. I want to run away sometime, but I can't, you know?
We have another question from Mehul.
Hi, Patrick. I'm wondering if the hybrid children have a full-time teacher and a curriculum to follow, or do the things that they need to learn just come to them while they're following their passion? Do they need a full-time teacher and a curriculum, or do they have super advanced ways of learning things through synchronicity that we just can't comprehend but are amazing to experience? Like, I'm just wondering about that.
As far as I know, yes. They're always going like a school class every single day, you see? They have a teacher teach them. They have to practice to try to understand our language. And they're going many different places in the galaxy. And they have lots of time off too. And sometimes you go there to teach them what you know, because they need to understand how we live here and how we see things. And sometimes we are in fear. They need to understand those things. It doesn't mean they're going to pick up on our fear, but they need to understand how we are, you see? And this is very important for them. But yeah, many times the people are involved with that, are going there to teach them.
Patrick, have you been there to teach them anything?
I've been there many, many times, you know, and I know you've been there too.
And they are
Also,
also, oh, I'm sorry.
Go
I was just going to
Sure.
interject that they also receive education in what we would consider their sleep time, but it's not the same as ours. It's more of a split consciousness, and they're aware of both of them at the same time.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, guys.
But see yourself that you're helping. You really help them. And they're aware of it.
You know, we're going to have another Bridging the World events with the hybrids on the 27th of July. The details they're still forming, but Patrick will be central to it. And certainly Ray will be also bringing the hybrids and channeling. A third channeler probably be present as well, connecting more into that stream of energies. So let's keep ourselves in tune for that. July 27th, Sunday, July 27th. I just wanted to mention that. There's some comments in here. Felix, you want to talk about your experience? Why not? You know, why don't you come forth and tell us about your experience?
Yes, please, guys. Everybody have an experience. Just
Yeah,
this is why we're doing this, you know?
He said a second. So
Do you hear me?
yes, we do hear you.
I think I sometimes get like I think I'm clairaudient. I think that's the word. So sometimes I just get the frequencies of several beings. It's like a little frequency on the right side of my head, and sometimes I get images too. And sometimes it overwhelms me, or I'm trying to hide my thoughts, and especially when I think it makes no sense. I think that's normal. But I'm just I think I don't know. I've made good experiences with this kind of communication. I just finished smoking a cigarette, and I'm really wondering if that gets my frequency down. To be honest, like I try to stop smoking. I think sometimes that takes the clarity away. I don't know if you can agree to that. I don't know.
Well, you know, smoking or drinking sometimes bring you in the moment, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's you're right, but I think it's time soon maybe to change that. Think that I think I would prefer that, but it's been a long habit. That's for sure. But I think I always think that if I wouldn't smoke, that I had a more clarity, and maybe I would be able to sort of communicate better or channel better for myself. I don't really know if I will channel in the way like Daryl Anker does or all these other great channelers, but I will do a podcast with a Yael channel from Germany in July, and I try to prepare myself for that. And his energy is also very amazing. And I'm really, I did a whole music album with him together. We do like hip hop and rap stuff.
Wow.
And I have a huge respect for him. And every time he channels, it's a really amazing energy. This Yael. And I was fascinated, Patrick, by what you said. That the Yael, you said they don't have a planet, right?
That's what I know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I never have information from them that they have their own planet. They live in a ship.
Because I never asked myself or my friend this question, and I can imagine both, but maybe it is true. Maybe they don't have a planet. Maybe they don't need one like the Sasani don't really live on as Sasani, their planet. They just hop around on the ships. But now that I think about all of this stuff, I never really, like so many people say that they connect in dream time and then they are on ships in dream time. And I never really had a dream with ETs on a ship. And I really wonder why that is. I don't know. Maybe do you guys have any explanations for that? Is it just not necessary maybe at this point?
Well, before Chuck gets to his, your belief that you won't be able to make those connections while you're smoking impede the reality which your ego will allow. So if your belief is, I can't connect to these people because I'm smoking, and then you're smoking, that's the reality which you're going to get. And Chuck would like to weigh on this before Patrick.
So as you were talking about that, Felix, and I know you and I don't know if you've heard any of this stuff that I do with Deseitu. So I've been channeling for a number of years, and Deseitu is usually always around. So a lot of times when individuals are making comments, I'll get some information that will come in. And so when you were talking about the smoking and the idea of it inhibiting you, and then as you were going on to discuss that you felt like you could quit, the information that shows up for me is that when you decide to quit, what will happen is that a probable life will open up for you when you do that. And in that probable life, that you, for whatever reason, will have enhanced connections. And you're feeling that right now. So it's not necessarily that you need to quit smoking, but it's more about this other version of you that doesn't smoke and the interactions that are going on with that version of you, and you'll step into those interactions. So you'll notice those things will step into your life in, I guess, what we would recognize as a term of a quicker way.
I just remember that there was a moment when I was on a vacation with my parents in Denmark, and that was a time where I smoked a lot of cigarettes. But I was also I had a whole bunch of connections, and it also had to do with hybrid children because there was a woman. I think her name was. I lost the connection to her, but I think her name was like Valerie or something, and she told me so many things about her hybrid children and everything. And then I totally believed that I connected to them and gave messages to them. I forgot about that memory, but at this point I clearly was able to connect at least from my belief system uh, with smoking. So yeah, that just came back, this memory. But I don't know. I Yeah, maybe I will talk later. I don't know. Maybe you guys continue with the dialogue. I'd like to listen to you guys for some minutes.
That's good. I just want to say something. Some whatever tell me that you need to watch. I can't remember the name, but he's a writer and he's been part of the abduction. And he's talking to see a hybrid boy smoking like crazy every time he's looking at him in the window. I can't remember his name. It was Spur. I will find it and put in the high vibe because he's talking about he have a connection with the Greys. He's talking about that, but he's always have You know, always talk about the boy who's smoking like crazy. And he said he's gonna die because he smoked. And he's talking about the interaction he have. It's pretty good. And I do believe that man, you know. He writes
Yeah.
several books, and yeah, I will find his name. I can't remember his name directly. Yeah.
I'll mute myself for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, another thing. They want me to tell you that. Everyone in that group know that. You go in the lineup, you're waiting, whatever, it's a grocery, whatever. You're waiting to pay your stuff, whatever, and you're just in that moment. And I know everybody will know that. And for a second, you sense something is looking at you. You sense something that is looking your field. And you're looking back, and some person far away is looking at you like crazy. They want you to pay attention for that because they are looking like that to you, and you will pick up. I know everybody had that experience, no? You're waiting in line and something it's something is bugging you, and you turn around and someone is looking at you for a bit. Everybody pick up on that, right?
Absolutely.
Like, pay attention. They will do that.
So Christiana has a little comment about Bashar.
Thank you, Luis. Yeah, Felix, I also drink and smoke and do a lot of things that might not be considered so correct. But the way I see it is that if I told myself, oh, I have to quit, then I would be very unhappy. So my vibration would plummet. And then it would be very, very counterproductive, no? And I mean, the way I am, I try to be as happy as I can. And I joke with the hybrids because I go to very bizarre concerts, but I invite them always. And I'm telling them, look how cool your mom is. I'm taking you to all the best places. So it's a matter of vibration from my point of view.
So it's not an absolute thing, but know your vibrations and keep them under your control. Love that, Christiana.
Yeah.
Christiana, you had something else to tell us about how we're pronouncing Gaia.
Yes. Very unfortunate. Whatever person decided to transfer, because you know, Greek has its own alphabet and its own grammar. So in Greek, there are these combinations of letters that are pronounced together, not separately, so they make one sound. A and I is one of those. So it's very unfortunate that the whole world, because of this person that transferred the word, did it incorrectly, not taking into consideration that English and other languages have a different grammar, but yeah.
So you would pronounce it how?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you say, yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, but a bit more long.
Can you spell it? Like, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wrote it in the chat. It would be better understood if you imagined Gaea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Vibrationally more appropriate. Thank
You
you,
know, it's
Christiana.
interesting. There was a time period 6 months ago, 8 months ago, or something like that, when I was contemplating the name of the planet and thinking that there was a different way that it would be pronounced. So that's kind of interesting.
You thought about it, and Chuck, and you brought this moment here.
Yeah, right.
That had nothing to do with that, but that surfaced.
Yeah, I like that stuff.
It's always there.
Always. Willow has a question as well. Willow?
Yes, I had one more question for Patrick about what fear-based beliefs did you have to let go of within yourself in order to deepen your connection with the hybrids? And how did you go about that process?
You know, I have to have fear because at first I didn't have any. But I will tell you an experience. One night I wake up, astral travel in the base on the moon. It was Sasani being there. When I open the door, I freak out. Because when I opened the door, I feel that energy came and I saw those being in the screen, like crystal screen computer. They looked back to me and I saw them and it was too fast. And a guy came to me, picked my hand, said, come follow me. And we drive back on Earth. I came back in the limousine. It was driving and some Sasani was following us. Stopped the car, talked to the driver. After that, yeah. Okay. He dropped me in front of my mother house that I know, it's a safe place. And when I walk in the driving, the hood was open like that. They have the symbol of Sasani, the triangular, and the round from Sirius there. And I was like, what the heck is doing there, But I was so awake in the dream, like I was walking like today. When I went in the house, my mother was sitting on the table. They have two guys there. One guy's looked my uncle. Well, when I see his black eye, I said, you're not my uncle. You just take a form. They was discussing what's going on happen. They said that was a premature. That was too quick, you see, for me. And yeah, in fact, they need to probably my higher mind just put me some belief to slow down because sometimes you can reach higher level, but what's the point, And that freaked me out. To tell you, sometimes you said, I'm ready. Your mind just like, it's not fast enough to cap with that energy. And for a week after, I was seeing like red triangular, like everywhere. Just like I was following a school bus and the brake light looked like a Gray's alien face, it was like, okay, I got it. I will take my time. But it was so like, yeah, when I pick up that energy, when Bashar said it's faster, it's true. You see, I wasn't able to deal with that.
Yeah. That makes
And
sense. Yeah.
because, it doesn't mean anything, but I have a life like extreme sport. Like for me to have fear, my fear is different from others. But when you meet an ET, it's something else. Doesn't matter if you're extreme sport. It will kick something in you. And I realized it was like I was not ready.
Yeah. So it was like a frequency that your body wasn't familiar with yet, and you had to acclimate and adjust to be, comfortable with it. Like maybe it's more of the fear of the unknown rather than the fear of the being, because the being itself is something you would love to connect with, but some part of your energy field is like, whoa, this is so unfamiliar. I have to sort of take my time and microdose myself with this frequency in order to, become used to it.
It's so true, and I was not expecting that. But when I wake up, I was mad because why didn't I have a time just to say, okay, take it. Whoa, give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. I will breathe. I will come down. No, it's just like it shifts on sixth gear, It's just like, and probably my guide bring me back to Earth, and they was following me to everything. It was okay because we can have a psychic shock. That's what's gonna happen, And you cannot fit in your reality anymore, in your delusion. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess those guys understand that they can see it. Like they kind of work with you to calm you down.
Yeah, it can definitely be a lot to get used to. And
oh yeah, just take your time and have fun. I will tell you that.
And your ego can think that it's being overwhelmed and you're dying, and it may leave the body. So that may also happen if you don't go into psychic shock and become a babbling idiot and water the state.
Well, you may have a little glimpse of the fact that that being may have a disintegrating gun that can undo matter. And you are the thing in front of it. So that may come into
yeah, exactly. But I don't remember what I was doing exactly before I traveled there. I think I was outside looking the moon and connecting with those sphere around Bashar, Epsilon, stuff like that. And in the astral travel, it's going quick. And I just popped myself there, opened that door. But I was not expecting those things. But after that, it helped me to bring them more consciously. Sometimes I see them in inner vision, stuff like that, and I can communicate with. But it was kind of a rock and roll, I tell you.
And getting in touch with these fears can be very helpful at times because it shows you where you still have things that need to be worked on. Like the other night, I had a dream that was very simple, where I was just looking through the skylight and watching this white orb dissipate into the sky, and I got a telepathic message saying that the orb was a ship and it couldn't stay in our atmosphere because there was too much pollution in it. And it wasn't even a fearful interaction, but when I woke up, I just felt like a lot of unfamiliar energy, which probably meant I connected with some being in that dream state that I wasn't familiar with. And I stopped myself at that moment and said, thank you, fear, for letting me know where I need to, place my focus. This fear is helping me to, reframe and rethink these things so that I can actually work with it instead of hiding and running away from it. And then I went back to sleep and had a dream later that night that was much more positive and much more comfortable. And I was given more information because I didn't run away from that fear. I actually welcomed it into my mind and into my heart and used it as a way to connect deeper. So everything can be used for our growth and expansion instead of making us feel smaller and weaker.
Oh yeah, you need to move forward. But that's beautiful. But everybody had those fears somewhere. You see, we just don't know until that thing happened.
Yeah.
But it's good sometimes to get shake because you can move on.
Certainly.
Beautifully said, Willow.
Yeah, beautiful.
And so we have now Heidi. She has a question.
Hello. So, if I'm remembering correctly, it was you that said a couple weeks ago, I was going to ask a personal question about a rock, because you talked about, I think it was you that talked about looking for patterns in rocks. Yes? Okay. So a few days after I heard that, I was moving energy in my room, which is also called decluttering. And so I took a lunch break and I heard something fall. And I went over to this bag of rocks and shells. And in it, I found the most beautiful rock I had collected on a beach a couple years ago. And it has an image of a snake on it. I'm going to try and show it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it too well. Whoops. Let me see. So there's the image of the snake.
Okay.
Yeah. And I couldn't have drawn it on here any better. It looks like it's been drawn on, but the dark drawn on area, or that looks drawn on, is raised. It's actually, so it's a different composition than the rest of the rock is. And it's a very light. And I just wondered if there was any comment on either this particular rock or just rocks in general, what rocks with patterns on them.
Where did you find that rock?
I believe I found it on a beach. It might have been Pismo comes to mind, Pismo Beach, but I don't remember where I got, for certain where I got it, but it was in a bag with some shells.
Do you feel it's more masculine or feminine?
I don't know why, but I'm going to say feminine.
Did you ever put that rock on the back of your neck when you go for sleep?
No.
Can you do it?
Right now?
No, tonight, maybe tonight.
Yeah.
I want you to don't fall asleep right now. We need you.
Well, the first part, put it on the back of your neck. Okay. So where? Like right here on the back, on the base of my, okay.
Yeah. You know when they call the chakra, channeling chakra, whatever, on the base of their neck? Put it there.
Okay.
And see what you get, but she kind of called you. It's fascinating with those rocks because when they call you, and you pick up on that, you will pick up that rock, you're going to bring it home, And one day I was walking the beach, a rock called me, but it was 120 pounds, and I have to lift that rock walk 2 kilometers in my car to bring that. My wife said, "You're freaking nuts." I said, "She want to come home," And yeah, this is how the connection is. But let's see what you get.
Thank you.
And when you see the snake, is part of the male and female. And Louis, we might do a session about reptilian and snake one day because we have so much thing to talk about.
We will. How did you know I was thinking about that?
Yay.
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
That was, when Willow said one of the fear I have with snake all my life, and I have a so strong connection with them, but I freak out like crazy with them until I make peace with them, you see?
In the meantime, we have a question from Mehul.
One moment.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Heidi.
Mehul, I just want to interject that Patrick also was told to take that 120-pound stone in and give it a tour of his house, and then after a couple of days, it wanted to go back out.
Well, you got to remember Brother Francis' session about gems and stones. They're not supposed to stay with you forever, and some of them have to be back
It's
in
true.
nature.
Yeah.
They have work to do, so to speak.
Thank you, Mehul.
Well, you get so much in love with them. I have like a 70 in my bed, and my wife's turning around and hits his shoulder. Like, you with your rock, you know? But you need to have fun, you know? They're a living thing, and they have quite a fascinating. But something you can do, if you find a big rock, like a flat one. Raven told me that because one day I was just walking up of the truck, and you know, sometimes just the movement of walking out of the car. This is what she bring me in my mind. She said, you're doing a little contraction and you move and you decontract. And when you contract and decontract, it changes the reality when you pay attention to it. You see, it can bring up many things. And sometimes I was just in front of the rock, just contract myself like that and let it go. And when you let it go, you open up some dimension and you see the rock start to talk to you with symbol. And this is quite fascinating. Maybe one day we're going to go in Sedona, all the group, and we can do so much thing. But remember, a little contraction, let it go. You shift the energy, you shift many times, you know, but you really pay attention to it. It will start to have a different effect with you.
You know, I can sense that hybrid energy in Patrick. You had that when you were born in this world, for sure.
Yeah. You know, in the 27, I know Jack is from the Yael. He will come and talk about teacher on the ship.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. We've been meaning to get to that level a little bit.
Yeah.
Mehul has a question. Most likely the last question, unless somebody steps and requests.
Hi, Patrick. I have a final question. I'm wondering if maybe you could shed some light on this experience. So about 1 year ago, sorry if I'm too quiet, I was trying to connect with the hybrid children, and I briefly had a vision of a child on a ship who looked like a young girl like me, with slightly darker skin. I have brown skin. And then it just ended, but I had a feeling of family. I'm wondering if you know what was happening, if this was a hybrid child of mine or someone else's that I was connecting to. Thanks.
It came to me number 12, and to remember that feeling. It's very important for you to remember that feeling. Why number 12? I don't know. You have anything happen with you when you're 12? But that feeling is very important for you to feel family.
Oh, sorry. Well, the number 12 to me, well, I did talk to another channeler about the hybrid children, and they said that I had 12 from their perspective, from what they were counting. So maybe that's what it was.
It could, but that feeling of family, the feeling in family, and you put 1 and 2, it's 13, you know, it's the step. It's very important for you to stay in that feeling.
All right, I will do that. Thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome.
Will has a question as well.
I was just curious if Patrick has any connections with the cat-like beings, because I've seen a lot of images of their faces in my mind, and I even sculpted one right here, which is like a cat hybrid. I don't know if you can see.
That's wonderful.
Anyway,
Gee, then you're doing so beautiful work.
Thank you. But I was just curious if you've had any communications with any of the cat people. I'm not really sure where they're from. I've heard Bashar say that it's more of an archetypal form that they take on, and they're actually non-physical beings that just sort of embody the cat persona when they communicate with humans, but I'm not fully sure. But this particular being came to me in a dream, and then I ended up sculpting her. So anything you have to share on that would be really wonderful.
Did you pick up on a name when you did that, Kat?
Nothing too specific, but I know that she's feminine energy, and it's kind of hard to see. She's, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. The light is kind of weird. There you go. You can kind of see a little bit.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. You know, so far I have 2 cats. I love cats. And what cat do in my dream, they bring me in the water to breathe in a different way.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's their do. And I have a black cat long time ago. She passed away, but she always coming back in the dream to bring me something under the water in the bubble. And we dream and breathe and breathe. And she said, learn to breathe differently. But it looked like the very high level of being taking that form. You know, cats, it's a cat. It's selfish like crazy, but they always have what they want, you know? But we love them. They're a little bit psycho sometimes because they killed and they don't hate anything. They kill, you know? And we love them. Just like, but it is unique in many, many different ways. It's hard to say what is perfectly with the cats. But it's like Mantis, you know? Mantis don't look Mantis on a higher level. They take that form here. And you ask yourself, why they take that form, you know? Again, you have to go out in the human mind. It's not only human who have intelligence. It's not only human who knows stuff. And like Snake, you know? But if you have a good connection with them, she's a beautiful cat. You're going to put color, you're going to leave like that?
Eventually, well, this is just a clay sculpture. Eventually, I'll be making a mold and reproducing it in silicone, and then I'll be painting it whatever skin tone or fur color I guess it needs. I'm not quite sure how she's going to look yet, but I'm sure she'll tell me as I get closer to that finishing point.
You know, the interesting thing, I think Bashar said they was connecting with Orion. I'm not sure. But if you watch many cat, the back of the cat, sometimes it look like a snake, you know?
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, like
there's something else there, you know?
And
this is why I want to talk about reptilian and snake, because you see the head of human, it's like sitting on the head of the snake. Our spine is look like, you have something there, you know?
Yeah, more things to explore, for sure.
Oh yeah, big. Anyway, thank you so much. Hey, Ray, I'm pretty done. Louis, anybody
Yes, I
have
think
any
you
question?
are. If you have a little message or anything here at the end.
And thank you.
What they want to say, it's like that. Pay attention when you wait somewhere. If you feel somebody's looking at you, just feel that feeling and just wait and look around. Who's looking you? It could be a bird because they're pretty good to project themselves to a bird consciousness.
And now,
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you so much, guys. It was
Thank you,
beautiful,
Patrick.
wonderful.
And hybrid connections.
and we're
Thanks
going
a
to
lot,
see you on the
Patrick.
27th
cool.
of July for the big event as well.
Yeah. Who's going
Uh,
to keep going? Chuck, are you keep going tonight?
Well, actually, I think Ray, you said something about the tall whites earlier, and Ray captured that. And I think that that's what's coming next. Am I right, Ray?
Well, Patrick happened to mention Alpha Centauri, which is, the way I understand it, their planet of origination, although the ones that I connect with really do not want to be associated with any physical realm in my experience. But yes, they would like to obtain further understanding in their quest to better prepare to have humans integrate with them before and after the ascension of humanity.
Do we need to take a little break before we go into that, Ray?
That would be special. I can refill my tea.
Yeah, let's take a little break, and we'll be back at 7. Well, in 10 minutes, we shall start back.